Today is Saturday, February 7, 2026. The time is 7:01 p.m. Eastern. Welcome to Geopolitical Updates from AGI Era. The drums of war in Eastern Europe echo with a new, potentially decisive timeline. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has revealed a significant push from the United States for an end to the protracted conflict with Russia by June of this year. This aggressive diplomatic target, disclosed amidst ongoing Russian missile strikes against Ukrainian energy infrastructure, signals a critical juncture in the nearly two-year war. The urgency of this American directive underscores mounting international pressures and evolving strategic calculations in a conflict that has reshaped global alliances and economic landscapes. The question isn't just if peace can be achieved within this ambitious timeframe, but what kind of peace, and at what cost to all involved parties, particularly as difficult issues evidently remain unresolved. Turning our attention to East Asia, Japan is currently holding a snap election, a calculated gamble initiated by Prime Minister Takaichi. Observers suggest that the Prime Minister's personal popularity could significantly bolster the ruling party's performance at the polls, despite underlying concerns regarding inflation and an ongoing diplomatic dispute with China. This electoral maneuver could redefine the country's political landscape and its approach to regional challenges. In a separate development impacting South Asia, authorities in Pakistan have announced the arrest of 4 individuals, including an alleged mastermind, in connection with a recent mosque bombing. The attack, which claimed the lives of more than 30 people, has heightened security concerns and underscores the persistent threat of extremist violence within the nation. The Interior Minister confirmed the arrests, stating the suspects are believed to have facilitated the devastating suicide operation. Shifting to the volatile financial sector, a South Korean cryptocurrency firm experienced an extraordinary incident, accidentally paying out an estimated $40 billion in Bitcoin. Fortunately, the company quickly identified the error and successfully recovered virtually all of the missing digital tokens from its customers. This event highlights both the immense sums handled within the decentralized finance space and the inherent operational risks associated with digital asset management. Meanwhile, the humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip remains precarious, as Palestinians returning through the Rafah crossing have recounted extensive search procedures conducted by an Israel-linked militia. According to reports, individuals and their belongings were meticulously inspected at an Israeli checkpoint located inside Gaza. These accounts underscore the complex security dynamics and the daily challenges faced by civilians attempting to navigate the contested border regions. Finally, former U.S. President Donald Trump has issued a stark warning, threatening to impose tariffs on any country that continues to engage in trade with Iran. While the specific rate of the proposed tariffs was not explicitly stated in his order, a 25% figure was cited as an illustrative example. This move significantly escalates economic pressure on Tehran and signals a potential resurgence of stringent trade policies from Washington, impacting global commercial relationships and the already strained regional stability in the Middle East. The revelation from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky that the U.S. is pressing for an end to the war with Russia by June of this year introduces a critical inflection point in the ongoing conflict. This timeline, while ambitious, reflects a growing strategic imperative from Washington to de-escalate hostilities and stabilize the Eastern European security architecture. The BBC's reporting highlights Zelensky's acknowledgement of difficult issues that persist, suggesting the path to peace is far from straightforward, even with external pressure. This aligns with the continued Russian targeting of Ukrainian energy facilities, which demonstrably complicates any immediate cessation of hostilities. From a geopolitical standpoint, an accelerated push for peace by June carries immense implications. For Ukraine, it could mean intense pressure to negotiate under unfavorable battlefield conditions, potentially ceding territory or making significant concessions on its future security alignments. Conversely, it could also imply a renewed commitment from the U.S. and its allies to bolster Ukraine's military capabilities sufficiently to achieve a more advantageous negotiating position within the given timeframe. The economic consequences for Ukraine are profound. A swift end to the conflict, even a negotiated one, would allow for the redirection of resources from defense to reconstruction, potentially unlocking significant international aid and investment. However, a rushed peace could also leave key industrial and agricultural regions under Russian control, permanently impairing Ukraine's long-term economic viability. For Russia, a June deadline could be interpreted in multiple ways. It might motivate intensified military efforts to secure more territory before negotiations solidify, or it could force Moscow to reassess its objectives in light of sustained international pressure and the economic toll of sanctions. The Al Jazeera perspective on U.S.-Iran relations offers a parallel, where maximalist demands can put talks on uncertain ground. While not directly about Ukraine, this illustrates how perceived inflexible demands from a major power can complicate rather than expedite peace efforts. In the Ukrainian context, if the U.S.'s call for an end by June is perceived as a maximalist demand by Russia, it could backfire, leading to further entrenchment rather than compromise. The long-term strategic consequences of a June peace are considerable. A settlement would redefine Russia's relationship with the West and potentially solidify new regional power dynamics. Should Ukraine be compelled into a less-than-ideal peace, it could embolden other revisionist powers and undermine the principle of territorial integrity. Conversely, a robust peace that respects Ukrainian sovereignty could set a precedent for conflict resolution in the AGI era. Economically, the war's conclusion would impact global energy markets, agricultural supply chains, and defense spending. The reconstruction of Ukraine alone would be a multi-hundred-billion-dollar undertaking, demanding unprecedented international cooperation and potentially reshaping investment flows across Europe. The role of the European Union, NATO, and the UN in brokering and enforcing any peace agreement would be critical, and its success or failure would significantly influence their future efficacy and legitimacy on the global stage. The nature of the difficult issues Zelensky refers to, likely sovereignty, territorial claims, and security guarantees, will determine the stability and longevity of any potential peace. Today, we've covered the urgent U.S. push for a June end to the Russia-Ukraine war and its far-reaching implications, alongside other pivotal global events. Japan's snap election could reshuffle its political power, while Pakistan grapples with the aftermath of a deadly mosque attack. A massive accidental crypto payout in South Korea highlighted financial market vulnerabilities, and Gazans reported stringent checks at the Rafah crossing. For our watch list over the next 24 hours, first, keep an eye on developments from the Japanese election polls. Initial exit numbers or early results could indicate whether Prime Minister Takaichi's gamble has paid off, influencing regional economic policy and diplomatic stances. Second, monitor any further statements or actions from the U.S. or Ukrainian officials regarding the proposed June deadline for the war's end. Any clarification on the difficult issues Zelensky mentioned will be a key indicator of the diplomatic path forward.